My beloved child, I have been with you since before your first breath. I knew the day you would arrive upon the earth, and I knew the path your feet would take, every turn, every detour, every road you did not choose but found yourself upon. Do you think that any of it was random? Do you think that the events of your life, the meetings, the opportunities, even the delays and disappointments, were without purpose? No, I tell you, for I have been moving pieces you could not see. My hand has guided you through seasons you thought were aimless, but in truth, they were shaping you for the moment you now stand in. When you were young, you thought you understood the course of your life. You made plans. You dreamed dreams. You expected the road ahead to be clear and straight. But as the years passed, you saw how the path would twist, how sometimes you would walk in circles, how often you would be led into valleys you would never have chosen. Yet I was there, my hand upon your shoulder, even when you did not feel it. I was arranging people to come into your life at just the right moment, opening certain doors and closing others, guiding you by ways you did not yet understand. There were moments you called delays, but I called them preparation. There were times you called disappointments, but I called them redirections. There were seasons you thought were wasted, but I tell you, nothing was wasted. Even your pain, even your mistakes, even the tears you shed in the secret place have been woven into the tapestry I have been creating for you. If you could see what I see, you would never again doubt my care. You look back now and can trace certain points where you realize something greater was at work. Do you remember the time you narrowly escaped what could have harmed you? The time you met someone who spoke words you needed to hear, though you had never met them before? The job you didn't get, which left you feeling rejected, only for a better opportunity to come months later. Those were not coincidences, my child. They were my interventions. My unseen hand was moving in your favor. I know that as the years have gone by, you have sometimes wondered if you missed my will in certain seasons. Perhaps you have looked at your life and thought, if only I had done this sooner, or if only I had chosen differently back then. But I want you to hear me clearly. I am not bound by your mistakes. I am the one who redeems lost time. Even when you wandered off the path, I knew how to guide you back. Even when you thought the years were slipping away without fulfillment, I was still writing the story according to my plan. I have brought you to this moment through countless unseen acts of mercy and provision. There were battles fought over you in the spiritual realm that you never knew were happening. Angels stood guard over you while you slept. My spirit whispered to people to pray for you in moments of danger or discouragement, though you never heard their names. My presence shielded you from harm you will never fully comprehend on this side of eternity. And yet, my work in your life is not finished. In fact, much of what I have been orchestrating is only now coming together. The pieces that seemed scattered across decades are being assembled into a picture you will soon recognize. I have been aligning people, resources, and timing for your sake. You may feel the years have been long, but I measure time differently than you. For me, your life is not a series of accidents and recoveries. It is a master design, and you are in the most significant chapter yet. I know you sometimes wonder why I allow certain hardships to remain. You ask, Lord, if you are guiding me, why does this path still have so many obstacles? My child, the obstacles are not proof that I am absent. They are proof that you are advancing towards something the enemy fears. The resistance you face is not random. It is targeted because you are nearing the place where my promises will manifest in ways that cannot be denied. But here is what I want you to hold in your heart. I have not only been guiding you toward blessings, but I have also been shaping you into the person who can carry them. The years have deepened your wisdom, refined your patience, and strengthened your faith. You have endured losses that would have crushed others, yet you still call on my name. You have walked through storms and still stand. This resilience is not by accident. It is the result of my hand holding you steady when you thought you would fall. Look back and remember the times you prayed for strength and found it. Recall the seasons when you thought you could not take another step, yet somehow you did. Those were the moments when my unseen hand lifted you, when my spirit breathed life into your weary soul. I have been closer to you than your own breath. Even now, as you read these words, I am near, guiding you still. You may not always feel my hand, but you can trust my heart. I am not just the God of beginnings. I am the God who brings things to completion. The seeds I planted in your life years ago, seeds of calling, seeds of purpose, seeds of promise, are now beginning to push through the soil. Some of these seeds have been hidden so long that you forgot they were even there, but I have been watering them in secret. Soon they will bear fruit, and you will know that it was I who brought them to life. So I tell you now, do not give in to the thought that your best days are behind you. Do not believe the lie that the most meaningful work of your life has already been done. I am the God who saves the best wine for last. What you are about to see is not a faint reflection of what once was. It is the fullness of what I have been preparing you for all along. Hold steady, for my unseen hand is still at work. Trust that I know the road ahead, even when you cannot see beyond the next bend. When I tell you to wait, it is because I am preparing the way. When I tell you to move, it is because the path is ready. And when I tell you to stand, it is because the battle is already won. One day you will see the whole picture and understand how every step, every delay, every turn was part of my perfect plan. Until then, rest in the truth that you have never walked alone. You have always been, and will always be, under the guidance of my unseen hand. My child, I need you to understand the time you are in. The intensity of the opposition you feel is not because you have failed. It is because you are dangerously close to victory. The enemy knows he cannot undo what I have decreed, so his only strategy now is to exhaust you, to discourage you, and to make you walk away from the very blessing that is about to unfold. For years he has studied your patterns. He knows what fears make your heart tremble. He knows which disappointments have lingered in your soul, unspoken but still heavy. And now, just before the season I have promised you comes to pass, he will try to magnify those old wounds. He will whisper that nothing will change, that you are too late, too old, or too weary to see my promises fulfilled. But I tell you, those whispers are lies, and they grow louder precisely because they are about to be silenced forever. I have watched the enemy throw shadows across your path in recent days. He has tried to make the obstacles appear larger than they are, so that your heart might faint. He has stirred up unexpected problems, hoping you will interpret them as signs that I am not with you. He has even tried to use the voices of others, sometimes those you love, to plant seeds of doubt. But you must not measure my plan by the noise of the enemy. You must measure it by my word, which has not changed. Do you remember the storms you have weathered before? The enemy tried then as well to convince you to give up, yet you remained. You endured. You overcame. And now, in this hour, he knows that if you take even one more step in obedience, you will cross into a place he cannot touch. That is why he presses so hard against you now. It is his last stand before your breakthrough. I am telling you this so that you will not be surprised. I am telling you so that when the discouragement feels heavier, you will remember. This is a sign, not of defeat, but of how close you are to victory. The enemy does not attack those who are far from their blessing. He focuses on those standing at the threshold. And you, my child, are standing there now. There will be moments when the pressure feels almost unbearable. You may wake up some days with no energy for the fight. You may find old doubts resurfacing, old fears whispering again. That is when I need you to anchor yourself in what I have already spoken. Do not let your emotions decide for you. My promises are not dependent on how you feel in the moment. They are rooted in who I am, and I do not change. This battle is not about your ability to perform perfectly. It is about your refusal to quit. The enemy will try to convince you that you are too weak to finish. But remember, the battle was never yours to win in your own strength. It has always been mine. Your part is to remain steadfast, to keep standing, even when everything in you says to lay down. You must also guard your mind in this season, for that is where most of the battle will rage. The enemy will bombard you with what-ifs and what will you do if this fails kinds of thoughts. He will try to push you into rehearsing worst-case scenarios in your imagination. But I tell you, cast down those imaginations the moment they arise. Replace them with my promises. Speak my words aloud over your life until they drown out every lie. I want you to remember something important. The enemy has no authority to take what I have promised you. His only weapon is deception, convincing you to give up before you see it manifest. But if you will resist him, if you will stand firm even in the face of fear, you will watch him flee in frustration. Do not mistake the delays for my absence. Do not mistake the opposition for my rejection. Many of my greatest works are birthed in seasons where everything looks impossible. I do some of my finest work in the midnight hour, when human reasoning says there is no hope. That is when my glory shines the brightest, when the outcome could not be explained by anything but my hand. I have told you before and I will tell you again. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from victory. The outcome has already been secured by the cross. The enemy's power over you was broken long ago. What you are experiencing now is not his dominance, but his desperation. And here is the truth you must hold tightly to. Desperation always precedes surrender. When the enemy realizes he can no longer keep you bound, he makes one last furious attempt to intimidate you. This is what you are seeing now. The waves seem higher, the wind seems stronger, but you must understand. They are only trying to distract you from the fact that you are almost at the shore. You have lived long enough to know that seasons change quickly. What feels like an unending trial can shift in a moment when my hand moves, and I assure you, my hand is already in motion. I am aligning what needs to be aligned. I am clearing what needs to be cleared. I am bringing forth what I have spoken, and no force in heaven or earth can stop it. So I say to you now, endure. Do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap if you do not faint. This is not the hour to slow down. This is the hour to lean in. Let your prayers be bold. Let your worship be loud. Let your trust be unshakable, not because you feel strong, but because you know I am strong on your behalf. In the coming days you will see small signs of my hand moving. Pay attention to them. They may not seem like much at first. A conversation, a change in circumstance, a door opening. But they are confirmations that the tide has turned. Each one will be a reminder that I have not forgotten you, and that I am faithful to complete what I began. And when the breakthrough comes, it will not be partial or fragile. It will be complete, and it will stand as a testimony to others that I am a God who delivers on my promises. Those who have watched your endurance will see my faithfulness in full display, and their faith will be strengthened because of your perseverance. The enemy's last stand is fierce, but it is short-lived. Hold your ground, and soon you will watch his schemes crumble before your eyes. My child, you are closer than you think. Press on. The blessing is not far. It is here just beyond the veil of resistance. You will see it. You will hold it. And you will know it was worth every step of the journey. My beloved child, I have never stopped speaking to you. From your earliest days until this very moment, my voice has been present, sometimes loud enough to stir your spirit in an instant, other times so gentle you could miss it if you were not listening. But I have always been here, guiding, correcting, encouraging, and comforting you. The challenge is not that I am silent. The challenge is that the noise of doubt often tries to drown me out. You live in a world filled with voices. They come from every direction. Televisions, phones, headlines, conversations, even the echo of your own thoughts. Some voices tell you to hurry, others tell you to fear, and still others insist that nothing will change. And when you are weary, those voices can sound convincing. They repeat old lies until they begin to feel like truth. But hear me, the voice of doubt is not my voice. I do not speak in despair. I do not speak in hopelessness. I do not call you to give up on what I have promised. I speak peace. I speak hope. I speak life into places that feel barren. Even when I correct you, my words carry love, not condemnation. That is how you can recognize my voice from among the others. My words lift you up, even when they challenge you. My words draw you closer to me, not push you away. Do you remember the times you were facing a decision and deep inside, there was a quiet knowing? Perhaps it was not the loudest voice in the moment, but it was steady, calm, unwavering. That was me. I do not compete for attention with the chaos of this world. I will not shout over every distraction, because I want you to choose to lean in, to make space for my presence. It is easy to hear my voice when the path is clear and your heart is full of faith. But when doubt begins to rise, when the obstacles seem larger than the promises, that is when you must listen all the more carefully. Doubt will tell you that my silence means I have withdrawn. It will tell you that I am withholding good from you, or that I have moved on to someone else. Those lies have been whispered to my children since the beginning of time. But you, my child, must remember what I have already spoken over your life. My word does not expire. If I have said it, it will come to pass. There have been moments when you felt me nudge you to pray for someone, and you did not know why. That was my voice. There were times you suddenly remembered a scripture you had not read in years, and it brought peace to your troubled heart. That was my voice. There were times you were about to give up, and somehow you found yourself standing a little longer, holding on a little tighter. That was my voice strengthening you, even when you did not realize it. I want you to know that hearing me is not about your age, your background, or how long you have walked with me. It is about your willingness to be still and trust that I am speaking. Even now, in these later years of your life, I am still revealing new things to you. Do not believe the lie that your season of hearing from me is over. The years behind you have only trained your ear to recognize me more quickly, to know my ways more clearly. Sometimes my voice will come to you in the middle of an ordinary moment. While you are driving, doing chores, or even sitting quietly, I will bring someone to your mind, or I will remind you of a promise. Those small moments are no less divine than when I speak to you in a powerful church service or during a deep time of prayer. I am not limited by the setting. I am present in every setting. But to hear me clearly, you must make a choice in this season. Silence the voices of doubt. That may mean turning away from conversations that feed fear. It may mean reducing the time you spend listening to voices that stir up anxiety or anger. It may even mean speaking to your own heart and saying, "Be still and know that He is God." When you intentionally quiet the noise, you will be surprised at how clearly my words rise to the surface. Understand this. The enemy will try to disguise his lies to sound like my voice. He will use just enough truth to make it seem believable. That is why you must measure every voice you hear against my word. I will never speak to you in a way that contradicts what I have already spoken in Scripture. I will never tell you to fear what I have told you to trust me with. I will never lead you into despair when I have called you to hope. When the voice of doubt grows loud, I want you to do what my children have done for generations. Remind yourself of my faithfulness. Speak out loud the ways I have come through for you in the past. Declare the scriptures that have sustained you before. Worship me even when you do not feel like it, for worship has a way of clearing the fog and tuning your ear to my frequency. Think of it this way. When you were younger, there were certain songs you could recognize from the very first note because you had heard them so many times. In the same way, the more you hear my voice through prayer, scripture, and worship, the faster you will recognize it, no matter what other sounds surround you. I know that in your later years the noise of doubt can feel heavier. The enemy will try to remind you of time that has passed, of prayers that seem unanswered, of dreams that have not yet been fulfilled. But my voice is not bound by the clock. I can speak in a moment and shift decades of waiting. I can declare a word over you today that brings a harvest from seeds planted long ago. So listen closely, my child. Even now I am speaking. I am saying, do not fear. Do not give up. I am with you. I am working all things for your good. I have not forgotten my promises to you. These are my words over you, and they will not fail. In the days ahead, I will speak to you in ways that are unmistakable. You will find scriptures leaping off the page as if they were written for you alone. You will hear my voice in the quiet, giving you direction and assurance. You will even see me answer prayers in ways so specific that you will know it could only have been me. The noise of doubt will try to rise again, but by then, you will be anchored in my words. You will know my voice so well that every other voice will fade into the background, and you will walk forward in peace, knowing that the God who has spoken is the God who will bring it to pass. My beloved child, you have walked a long road to arrive here. I have seen the seasons when your faith burned bright, and I have seen the seasons when it flickered like a candle in the wind. Yet you have not let it go out. You are still here. You are still standing. And because you have not abandoned the path, you are closer to the fulfillment of my promise than ever before. But I must tell you plainly, receiving the fullness of what I have spoken often requires endurance. This is not endurance in your own strength, for your own strength will not last. This is endurance that comes from trusting me when the road is long, when the answers are slow, and when the weight feels heavy. I have made you promises, not vague hopes, but specific words I have planted in your spirit. There are prayers you have prayed for years, some of them so deep in your heart that you rarely speak them aloud anymore. You think perhaps they are forgotten, or maybe you even imagine you misheard me. But I am not a man that I should lie. What I have promised, I will perform. Endurance is not simply waiting, it is waiting with expectation. Many can wait, but few can wait in faith. I want you to be one who waits in faith, who continues to prepare for what I have promised even when there is no visible sign of it yet. When Noah built the ark, the skies were still clear. When Abraham prepared to be the father of nations, his arms were still empty. They endured because they trusted my word over what their eyes could see. I know the years have tested you. You have watched some dreams come to pass and others remain unfulfilled. You have walked through seasons where the ground beneath your feet felt unsteady. You have faced losses that shook your soul. But here you are, still holding to my hand. That is endurance, my child. Not because you have never doubted, but because you chose to keep walking even when doubt whispered at your heels. The enemy would have you believe that the delays mean I have changed my mind. But I tell you, delays are often the soil in which your blessing grows roots. I do not give you promises that wither in the first wind. I give you promises that can stand for a lifetime and beyond. And strong promises require strong roots. That is why endurance is so vital. It is in the enduring that your roots go deep, anchoring you so that when the promise comes, it will not overwhelm you.